Hello, and welcome to this e-tutorial on how to complete the Department of Defense Form 137-3 or Dependency Statement-Parent Form. The purpose of completing a DD Form 137-3 is to establish the relationship and dependency status of the claimed dependent's parents or parents-in-law. The DD Form 137-3 contains 12 sections in which all sections must be answered. If any question does not apply to your situation, please write "not applicable" or NA in that block. Incomplete answers or unfilled boxes will delay final action on the application. Before you begin filling out the form, please be sure to read and understand all of the instructions and notes provided in the instructions box. Please note, the service member must complete items 1 and 2 and sign and date the form on section 12-C. Additionally, in this e-tutorial, the term member and sponsor will be used interchangeably. In Block 1A, please place an X on each entitlement that is being requested. Are you requesting Basic Allowance for Housing, or BAH, or Uniform Service Identification and Privilege Card, or USIP card, commonly known as an ID card? The Secondary Dependency Office of your branch of service will verify that you meet the eligibility criteria set forth by Congress for the requested entitlements. Next, answer Block 1B. Is this your first application? If yes, mark yes. If this is not your first application, please mark no and provide the date of your last application. In Block 1C, indicate whether the claim was approved or disapproved. The information requested in Section 2, Member Information, relates to the sponsor. Please include the member's name, Social Security number, rank, and status. Section 2E asks for the member's current residential address and the complete military unit address if the sponsor is on active duty. If the sponsor is now retired, you should write "not applicable" in Block 2F. The information requested in Blocks 2G, H, and I must be clear and up to date. The Secondary Dependency Office uses the information in these boxes to communicate with the member if more evidence or clarification is required to complete the claim. Please provide a good working telephone number, email address if applicable, and the sponsor's marital status. The information requested in Section 3, Parents Information, is only about the claimed parents, including parents-in-law and in loco parentis. In loco parentis is a person who stood in place of the natural parents to the military service member for a continuous period of at least 5 years before his or her emancipation. This section is only for the parents that are being claimed. This section continues on page 2 and must be completed in full. Please make sure to fill in all information for each parent claimed. Parents' information regarding occupation, name of employer, and marital status are important elements which must be included. Finally, in Section 3, you must fill in the names and Social Security numbers of all living children, including yourself, branch of service if applicable, and the amount of any regular monthly contribution provided to the parent by each child. Finally, if any other child is a member of the armed services and claims the parents for BAH, travel allowance, or USIP card, please give the name, Social Security number, and branch of service in Section 3G. Section 4, Parents' Residence, seeks information regarding the parent's residence. In Section 4A, enter the type of residence, the owner status of the residence, and the date if the parents are living in the service member's residence. In Section 4B, be sure to enter the name and address of the owner of the residence, whether it's subsidized housing, the date the parent started living there, and if this is the parent's permanent address. Errors in Section 4 are usually due to the lack of information provided regarding the type of residence, owner of the residence, or the managing company if rented. In Section 5, Persons living in household with parent, you must list all persons who live in the household with the parent, including the claimed parent. If the person is employed, show the average number of hours worked per week. This section cannot be blank even if the claimed parent is the only person living in the household. Remember, please use an NA for fields with no information. Section 6. Household Expenses. In this section, you will need to list all expenses for the entire household, all persons living in the home, not just the claimed dependent's share for the past 12 months. If the parent lives in the residence with the member, determine a fair rental value for the entire dwelling. If the parent is paying on a mortgage, rent, or lease, then list that monthly sum in 6A1. If fair rental value, the amount an owner could reasonably expect to receive from a stranger to rent the dwelling, is used, please provide an explanation as to how that was determined in the remarks, section 11. Our office requires the full amount of each expense to be listed for accuracy. For detailed information regarding what type of expense can be claimed in each box of the section, please refer to our webpage, http://www.dfas.mil/military members/secondary dependency/sdc.html. In Section 7, Parents' Personal Expenses, you will note all expenses of the claimed parent, parent spouse, and their unmarried minor children regardless of who pays for the items listed. These amounts should not include personal items for the sponsor, only the dependents being claimed. For additional information on what should be included, please see the Expenses Breakdown Worksheet for information specific to each expense type. This can be found under the service-specific page on the dfas.mil link cited in Section 6. Please list all your parent's assets information in the space provided in Section 8. All assets must be listed even if they are not being used as a source of income. If your parent is liquidating any of their assets, please list the amount used on a monthly basis in Block 8B. Examples of assets may be vehicles, houses, personal property, farm or business equipment, cash, savings, stocks or bonds whether held solely or jointly by the parent, spouse, or other person. On Section 9, Parent's Income, all gross income received by parent or parent spouse only, whether taxable or non-taxable, and whether received monthly, quarterly, or yearly, must be listed. If any income received includes funds for children, be sure to show the amount received for them. List income for parents and children separately. Remember, do not list sponsor income on the parent income section, otherwise an incorrect or negative determination may be made based on the information submitted. Make sure you list all income for any category in Section 9A through N. Additionally, please check the appropriate yes or no box in Section 9O. If your claimed parent has reached the eligibility age for Social Security benefits, unmarried widow or widower, 60 or older, retired, 62 or older, but does not receive them, we must have a copy of a letter of ineligibility from the Social Security Administration. On page 5 of the DD Form 137-3, Section 10, Members' Contribution asks for the sponsor's contributions directly related to the claimed parent, parents, and parents-in-law, or in loco parentis, over the past 12 months. For service members requesting basic allowance for housing, on behalf of parents, the Joint Federal Travel Regulations, Chapter 10, which regulates BAW, requires proof of support to the claimed parent. Please provide the proof of support to your parent to be able to complete your claim. Acceptable forms of proof of support include AD, discretionary allotment showing on an LES, canceled checks, money order receipts, Western Union transfers made out to claim dependent or claim dependent's custodian, joint checking accounts, cash contributions, or purchase receipts are not acceptable forms of proof of support. Copies of bills paid on behalf of dependent may also be used as long as proof of payment can be provided. Section 11 Remarks. Please use this section to add additional information for any of the sections on this form. Please annotate which response you are adding information for at the beginning of each entry. On Section 12, Signatures, please make sure all signatures are signed and dated in the presence of the notary public. All forms with notary blocks must be notarized. Failure to have the documents notarized will result in return of the application without action. The notary signature relates to the signature of the claimed dependent, parent, or guardian. As explained before in the beginning of this tutorial, the sponsor must sign and date the DD Form 137-3 on Section 12C. Unless the sponsor is not available due to the necessity of military service when the forms were complete. In this case, a copy of a general or financial power of attorney is required. Thank you for watching this e-tutorial on how to complete the DD Form 137-3 or Dependency Statement Parent Form. Additional resources, information, and links to the forms are available online by going to www.dfas.mil/military members/pay and entitlements/secondary dependency.